Good morning, everybody. Got your coffee? I got mine. Let's move this out of the way. This is sidewalk chalk. I was reading a book the other day and I thought to myself, I said, it came in, I think, what was it, yesterday or the day before? And I thought to myself, sidewalk chalk for this time of year. Look what else we've got. And the pucks are down in there too. We've got some hockey sticks in so the kids can play. And guess what else I got? I got tennis rackets and tennis balls. Because who knows? I might be, discovering the next Venus and Serena Williams over here in the library pantry. You don't know. We don't know. We don't know what a child may pick up and find interest in, and it may take root and just take off in them. We don't know what we might inspire in these kids around here. But yesterday, the library pantry, they did like a complete clean out yesterday. I had to restock this morning, go out there real quick and restock food, restock books, restock coloring books. Is the only thing that we have none of. I thought I had plenty of coloring books. Turns out they were all crossword puzzles and word search books. They were not. So in between the ones that I took to the daycare and the kids taking them probably more than I realized they were, we don't have any. So if you would like to contribute to that endeavor, I'd appreciate it, because we have one left in that pantry and that's all I've got. They took a lot of those yesterday too, which, we're always so proud of, because, that stimulates the brain, mentally. Not only that, but coloring, adults color. It gives you a tranquil state. It relaxes you. It's a peaceful thing to do, like gardening, same things, it's a very calming thing to do. So let these kids have the coloring books. Anyway, I've got some people that I want to thank. I want to say thank you so much to T. Taylor, who heard me yesterday when I said my tripod is janky, and it is. Thank you so much. She's always so supportive, girl. I love you. You are loyal to no fault. And to Madeline, thank you so much, Madeline, who's always just so quietly supportive. And then Monia, that's a new name for me, but welcome, Monia. Thank you so much for your wonderful support. I appreciate the love and the kindness that you're showing me, and the platform. I appreciate all of you. I really do. Listen, I've got some advice. I don't really have a conversation today, just some advice. I paid my mortgage not all that long ago. And whenever I pay my mortgage, I always do this little, it just evokes this prayer in me. And I pray for all the people who are experiencing homelessness. And I pray for all the people who don't know how they're going to pay their rent that month or their mortgage payment that month, and they're on the brink of homelessness. Because imagine how much anxiety, a lot of light on this situation. Imagine how much anxiety that can create, for someone to not know, especially if you've got kids, but when you're talking about the roof over your head being in jeopardy, I cannot imagine the stress and the anxiety. And especially if you don't have a support system, you don't know where you're going to go and what you're going to do. And, and I hate to see people in Generation X and older, the way we're so hard on younger millennials and, Generation Z. Look, the economy, we're experiencing hyperinflation in a way that we don't, that if you're not someone who reads, follows news, pays attention, you won't notice. And you'll think that things are like they were back when you needed an apartment, or back when you got your first apartment, or back when you got your first job. And it's just not. People really are not being paid a livable wage. There are people y'all age, seniors, boomers, okay? Generation Xers, who are losing their apartments and whatnot because they didn't prepare, because they weren't paying attention. You have to pay attention to the shit that's going on right now so that you will be able to be prepared. I mean, 1 minute you've lived in an apartment for 30 years, and the next minute your rent has gone from $800 to $2,400, and literally over damn night. And then you're like, what am I gonna do? Where am I gonna go? Well, these kids, they've been experiencing this shit. They not new to it. They true to it. They've been experiencing this. Going from one apartment to another to another. That's why if you notice, they don't tend to decorate their apartments. They don't settle in. And you know what that is? If you're not someone who sits and really thinks about things and internalize the right shit, that's a trauma response. These bare ass apartments, wood grain doors and cabinets, looking all basic and shit. They can't settle in because when they move in, the rent is $1,200, and the next time they sign their lease, the rent is $2,400, and they gotta go. Why would they invest in decor when they can barely make their ends meet? They out here doing these gig jobs, working 2 and 3 jobs, and y'all acting like y'all don't understand that. Please stop. Turn on some news. Read some articles. Google how are so many people becoming homeless. Use the internet for something more than entertainment and video games. Use it to inform yourself about what is really actually going the fuck on right now. Why so many kids, younger people, are moving back home. You got 40 and 50-year-olds who are moving back home right now. This shit out here is real. So if you are comfortably able to afford the roof over your home, God bless you. Because more and more people are finding theirs in jeopardy. And the fact that we can't find it in us to empathize with that is sad. And a very big part of the fucking problem. I mean, I didn't mean to go off on a tangent, but damn. This whole way that we have all internalized this pull yourself up by the bootstraps mentality, you didn't like it when it was told to you. So why are you telling it to somebody else? It's different for their generation. It is. This is the generation that's paying $10 for eggs. Please stop. This is the generation where oligarchs are being ushered into power. Greed is America's God. Hyperinflation is happening to everybody, and if it ain't hit you yet, it's because it ain't hit you yet. Stop. When I talked about the things that we internalize in this nation yesterday about ourselves, it is not a character flaw to be poor. Not in a nation this expensive. It's not a character flaw. It's not. It's reality. And you looking down on somebody that's openly talking about their struggles just because you have internalized your own, you have put them in a box, tucked them somewhere back in your brain, and you hoping that your day doesn't come. Dealing with problems like that doesn't work for all of us. Some of us are very vocal about what the fuck is going on and what the fuck we're experiencing and why it is we're experiencing it. Okay, enough of that. But I always say a little prayer whenever I pay that particular bill. I do want to tell you, if you're watching me right now, I want to challenge you to do something, like right now. And then I want you to come back in the comments, and I want you to come back and tell me what you found out. Whatever state that you're living in, whether you're living in South Carolina, in Michigan, in California, wherever you're living, whether you're living in Nevada, wherever you're watching me from, I want you to Google. I know this is going to be a bit of a challenge for some of y'all, but I want you to Google your state's unclaimed property, and I want you to put your name in the search bar, and I want you to tell me what comes up for you. I remember I did this for myself one time, and $400 and some change came up in unclaimed. And that wasn't the only time I've done it in my life. I did it back when I lived in Michigan often. You'd be surprised. Sometimes it's insurance claims. Sometimes it's banks close. We forget about accounts. Sometimes we overpay and somebody just owes us some money. Sometimes state income tax, they make a mistake. They correct it. They don't let you know. Money sitting there. My brother one time missed $1,000 paycheck. I said, how did you miss $1,000 paycheck? I got him a job as an intern at Chrysler one year when he was in college. And when I did my unclaimed, I told him, go check unclaimed, check your information. And he goes, yeah, I had like 900 some. I said, from where? He said, Chrysler. I said, Chrysler? I said, you only worked there for a semester, for a summer. He says, yeah, I know. He dingy like that, you know. But he was missing, he somehow, he missed that check. Somehow he did. And he got it. And I remember one time telling my mother about it. This is many years ago. And she found money too. I forget where she found hers from, but she did. I did it for my husband once. He found money. Just go and see if anybody's holding on to your money. You might be surprised at what you find. Okay? There's that. And then the last piece of advice I want to give you is if you have unpaid medical bills. Unpaid medical bills. I want to see if I got like a piece of paper around here or something, so I can give you, because most people learn better visually. Yes, just what I need. When you get your hospital bill and your doctor's bill, you have your hospital bill and you have all your pertinent information, everything that they want you to pay, why, and it's all itemized and everything. Then on the back, it's going to have a whole bunch of little bitty writing. And the writing, as you get toward the end, is going to get smaller and smaller and smaller. I dare you to check what I'm saying. And then right here somewhere at the very, very bottom, it's going to say in very fine print, if you cannot afford this bill, contact such and such, such and such, such and such. I help people, older people in my community, fill out this kind of paperwork all the time. And it is paperwork. And if you're lazy, I don't know what to say. But if you go on the websites, follow the information, connect those dots, help is available. My husband, I told you, he got sick back in 2018. He got really sick. And he had to have 2 emergency surgeries. He was in ICU, and they had to put him into a couple of medically induced comas. And that whole time I was so worried about that bill, what that bill was going to look like. Well, I was talking to a friend of mine who went through breast cancer, and she was the one who told me about it. Well, I went on the back because, yeah, we can't afford all of that. She got 10% of hers forgiven. But when you're talking about breast cancer treatment, upwards of $1 million, 10% of that is a lot of money. You know, but she had insurance and everything else too. So when you think about the insurance paid what they paid, and then she was left with her part, and then 10% of the total bill she didn't have to pay. Well, when I got done, you know, doing my little thing and everything, the only thing that we had to pay for was out-of-pocket pain medications, stuff like that. They even paid for his bandages, his wound care, his facial surgeons, everything. They paid for all of that. We got away with paying. They forgave the whole entire medical bill. And this was 2 different hospitals, because one hospital couldn't cope with how ill he was, and they had to send him to a hospital that was more apt to do it. and he had to go on an ambulance and everything. They wiped the whole bill out. It is worth it to look into. And that is it. And that is all that I have for today. If you would like to donate to the library pantry, if you would like to support the platform, or if you would like to just buy me a cup of coffee, I will leave my Cash App and Venmo down in the comments. I hope that I helped someone out there today. And if I did, by all means, come back and show me a little bit of love. Y'all have an amazing day. Have a righteous day. Do something nice for someone. It'll make you feel better. It really, really will. Be good to your people.